Good morning, everyone. What the heaven? What the heaven? That's probably what people up in heaven are saying. What the hell when they see what we're doing down here? You know. Um, I was talking to my brother yesterday, and I called. I said something derogatory to him because he just how he. I don't know what it was, but I called him well, kind of. I called him a dick also. And and that all in love and with warm felt feelings and stuff. But I was calling him out on something that I think he should have been called out on. You know, and I told him, I said, listen, you're retired now. You don't have to act like a supervisor. When you talk to your family and friends. You know, and and I said, you gotta, you don't work for a living no more. You should start living for a living. You know, and look at the scenery as life is going by you. We were kids, or when I was a kid, well, when we were kids, me and my brothers, we used to go to work with my dad at the great A&P, the A&P store on Woodbury Road in Pasadena or Altadena. And he was a produce manager, and I would go in there and peel onions and and he would do all the fruits and vegetables and lettuce and all that stuff and trim lettuce. And he took pride in when that store opened. That produce section was in tip-top shape. So you want anybody come in there, and there's a lot of black folk in the area, but it was all good, and we used to have coffee and well, I'd have chocolate milk, but we'd have break. He'd take break inside the butcher, back at the butchers, where the butchers were, with old Mac the butcher. God bless him. But my dad taught us a good work ethic. We took pride in our work. And and I'm truly grateful for that. This morning when I got up, there was a song on my telephone. I listened to YouTube music, and it was by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, and the song was, "If you want to get to heaven, you got to raise a little hell." And I'm in there dancing, and the dogs are looking at me like, "What the hell?" Like I'm doing like Tai Chi, and I was having fun. And the dogs are looking at me, and Henry's tail's wagging. He was getting into it too. So maybe it's probably a good way to warm up in the morning. Put on some music, listen to some. I can really get a good kick out of music. I really do, because I listen to the words. And there's a song by Ozark Mountain Daredevils. It says, "Thank you, Lord, you made it right." And He did make it right. But we just have to pay attention. Pay attention. Be patient. And and that's what it's about. Let me. I'm filming this from the garage this morning because I got an early start, and I built a little corral off the back of my back bedroom. So when I let the dogs out in the morning, they don't go wandering out in the whole yard because they've been sprayed by a skunk a couple of times, and that's yeah, and so. There's a skunk around here somewhere, so I put the dogs in the house a few minutes ago before I started filming this video. But this still is a history lesson. I gave you a little history about me working as a kid. I had my first paying job when I was in the summer of 8th grade to freshman in high school. I worked at A&B Reflectorizing, making I think $1.35 or $1.65 an hour or something like that, making the traffic cones that say wet paint keep off, and when they put me on the oven, I got a raise to $2 an hour, and I had so much money. It was me and my brothers, Dave, my oldest brother Dave, he would make the resin, and the other older brother would pour the resin on the molds, and the molds would go through the oven, and I'd be on the other oven and go in the shower to cool it down, and you have to turn the cone inside out and real quick and pull it back out to peel it off of the mold. But my hands, my fingertips got really, I could touch hot things, because I got tough fingertips. and that's part of work. We work for a living. I'm still working for a living, but I'm kind of getting used to retirement, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy it. God willing, and I am ready to die. I became ready to die over 20 years ago. One day I woke up with it, or not get up, but I had a migraine headache. Oh, my head hurt so bad. I took some Tylenol, and I was getting ready to go to the emergency room, but I laid down, took a nap, and when I woke up, it was a little bit better. And so if you're sick, go to the doctor. Get your ass to the doctor. Because preventive medicine is preventive medicine, so we don't get sick. Oh, and then my youngest daughter, she's coming back to California. She got a job just up the street. So I'm really happy about that. So for the young ones, that when you watch this and listen to Grandpa, take pride in your work. Get a job. Go look for work. Don't sit on your rusty dusty. Go out there and look for some work. You can get it. You guys are all qualified. I know you got the gene to a good work ethic. All your parents have good work ethics. So get out there, get off your rusty dusty, and don't let it. If you wonder what rusty dusty is, it's your butt. So God bless. Take care. Do something for somebody else for fun and for free because you want to. We'll talk to you soon. Love you all. Bye.